afternoon and welcome. I want to take a moment to say thanks to everybody who decided to take the time and join the webinar today. Today is going to be a co-hosted webinar by SmartBear and Shift Asia about test automation, how to drive business value. So as you all saw on the event page, it's going to be exciting as it's not about the regular automation, but rather we'll discuss the forefront of smart automation using AI and low-code tools in the market. And before we get started, I wanted to take a minute to share a quick poll. You probably see it in the chat section, a link. It's just one question about your overall experience with automation. Please take a minute to just, select your option. Great, or a pop-up or a link in the chat. And after you fill that out, please feel free to anytime post questions in the chat section so that we can address those at the end of the Q&A session. Okay. So today's speakers, we have two automation specialists. First, I wanted to welcome Sanket from SmartBear. Would you like to do some introduction?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Namiko. I'm Sanket, everyone. I have spent mostly my entire work life in QA and test automation. And here at SmartBear, I help customers and partners to help adopt test automation as part of their platform. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Really great to have you today. So Sanket is very involved in the community and has profound knowledge in QA automation and engineering, having worked at renowned international organizations. So welcome. Thank you. Thank you. And from our side, we have Sri. Would you like to do the honor?
Yeah, thank you, Namiko. Yeah, I'm Srikant. And I work as a project manager within Shift Asia and a PMO leader for the customers. And I specialize myself in the EC side, and I basically work on the requirement analysis, test strategies, and how to adopt test automation in the projects, and also the release management. Yeah, nice to meet you guys, and thank you, Namiko.
Awesome. So yeah, Sri, his career has been, facilitation of all software QA and automation projects for notable EC and enterprise clients. So welcome. Thank you so much. And today, what we're going to cover as listed here, there will be presentations from both Shift Asia and SmartBear, including Q&As. And as advertised, we'll visit some topics such as automation facts and industry challenges that we see, and how latest automation tech can help business achieve higher ROI faster than the conventional way. So before we get into the details, I just wanted to touch on what we do at Shift Asia. Shift Asia is a part of a bigger group called Shift Group, and they're headquartered in Tokyo, founded in 2005. We have more than 5,000 employees global, and Shift Asia has about 200 people working out of Vietnam, and we're one of the largest QA specialized companies in the world. And in terms of the solutions we have, everything is offered at competitive, offshore and nearshore benefits. And obviously our background is in manual QA. And on top of that, we do automation, as we're going to talk about today, as well as building, ODC, TCOE for long-term clients of ours, and software development. And in terms of our business breakdown, since our background is in QA, we do more QA testing than software development. And in terms of the client verticals that we worked with, that can be finance, bank, insurance services to ERP, healthcare, e-commerce. Those are the prominent ones that we work with. And in the process of delivering the best, we work with industry leaders like SmartBear and employ various technologies. And a bit about Smart Bear as well. The company is quite international as well. Founded in 2009. Smart Bear in total has 16 million end users around the world and has a few open source initiatives, including, I think, SOAP UI and Swagger. So the Smart Bear test solution looks like this. It's pretty comprehensive. We're going to mostly focus on test complete today, but also Bitbar, Load Ninja, and Ready API. All of those can be helpful in software testing. Okay. And specifically, test complete, what is it? It is a very complete low-code test automation tool chosen by enterprises worldwide, and it's best made for GUI regression testing automation. So from here, Shri, from our side, we'll be talking about our smart test automation solution. Thanks, Shri.
Thank you, Namiko. Yeah. Hi, everyone. So today I'll be taking through the what is test automation and where it is adopted, and then the benefits and the negatives of using the test automation. And finally, I'll take you through the why we have to move. I mean, what's the benefits of moving to smart automation? Yeah. Thank you. And the first one, yeah, it's I think the most of the audiences over here might be knowing about test automation, but just a glimpse. So it's part of the QA cycle. So you might have adopted some manual testing in your projects, and yeah, you instead of using the resources, the people to test the code, you do then automation. I mean, you do scripting and then automate it so that you don't have to assign resources every time you have to test it. So the areas where you can actually automate is on the functional and non-functional areas of the code, and the GUI. Basically, you might have seen about the browser-based automation, and the last one is the API or the test automation. Yeah, next one. Yeah, thank you. So the 80-20 rule. So people, it's been said that 80% of the bugs are found by the 20% of the test cases. The teams try to identify these test cases and do the automation, and usually. So if you go with manual testing of these 20% of these test cases, it's going to be time consuming. Every time you run the test cases by the people, it's going to be time consuming, and the quality, I mean, it takes time to ensure the quality of the code. So it is identified over there and then automated. And the next one is the benefits and what of test automation and the technical stacks that is used. So one is the if improved accuracy. So instead of manually doing it every time, if a code is run, the accuracy is more. So and execution speed. So usually, if you do something in the manual or testing process, it takes like, for example, it takes like one week or 2 weeks. That if you automate it, it just takes 1 or 2 hours to automate, and the speed is considerably very high with comparing to manual testing, because consistency, again, this one is we can reduce the human errors, and the second one is we can more we automate, more we can do the coverage of the codes, or the areas we can do the testing. And the final one is the reusability. Wherever, once a code is created, you can reuse it, that particular, automation script in different areas. So you can reuse that code. And the technical stacks that is being used is usually the Python or for writing the test scripts, Selenium for the web browser-based automation, and the Appium for the device-based automation, that is the smartphones, and XUI test, and then the JMeter, etc. Yeah, we can go to the next one. Yeah. So the known challenges with respect to the creating the normal traditional automation scripts is the speed. I mean, to write down the scripts, we have to allocate resources, and then it's pretty slow, and then it incurs a cost, and sometimes it's costly. And sometimes for the complex ones, to cover the complex test cases, it requires the skilled resources to be allocated to the team. And then the next one is the automation scripts basically degrades by time to time, because we will, after making multiple releases, you will have to update those scripts. So you need to allocate resources to maintain these automation scripts. So these are the known challenges on the process side, and from the technical point of view, it's the change. Sometimes, changing of libraries or like version upgrades with respect to the tools you use might change, and then you have to maintain the scripts every time. And the next one is complexity. Sometimes people adopt complex technologies, so you have to find out the right resource for automating a particular part of the project. And the last one is sometimes the open sources we use is unreliable, and then we might end up with some blockers sometimes. Yeah. Next one. Yeah. This is an example of how automation can help, and what kind of cost is being involved, and those areas. So point number one is initial implementation cost is very high. So if you see the regression to area, so when you try to automate for the first time, the cost is very high for the first time. And then the second point is to get the big break-even point or the return on investment, it takes some time for the traditional automation. So it requires like number of regressions and number of years to get back the break-even for the investments. And since the automation code degrades by itself on multiple releases, so you have to maintain the automation script. So the coverage goes up and down. That's the orange part of this graph. So it goes up and down every time when you automate when you have an automation script. So the point number 4, so you will have to keep having a special type of resources, I mean with special skill sets, so that you can keep this automation project alive in your projects. Thanks. So in the previous slide, I was explaining about the benefits of the automation, but the main part is about the test depth. So when you increase the coverage, you have to allocate more resources for the maintenance work, and then instead you can use those resources in the improving the project. Instead, you will end up spending with a lot of resources in the automation script maintenance. So next, in the next slide, I'm going to explain you about how to solve these problems and how smart automation can help you. So smart automation, first of all, this one. So we have this, I mean, there are various tools available in the market, and using those tools and AI, you can do an easy onboarding. You don't have to have specific skill sets for people to do this. Writing up the test cases. Next one is the scripts can correct by itself using the AI. No maintenance. I mean, no such maintenance cost. Not much maintenance cost is involved. Allocating people to fix the the degraded test scripts. And the next one is the short lead time. So you can infuse the members into the project and start working as quick as possible, and everything is ready, and then execute faster, and then manage the and also you can do the releases quicker. The last one is a higher return on investment when we use these tools on a long term. So the return on investment will be very high. Yeah. Next one is, what are the visible results you can see with smart automation is the CI/CD integrated and easy. Sometimes if you want to integrate, it's also easy. I mean, it's some default integration is also there. Productivity of the team is very high, and no, you can make sure in a short term of time that you have less manual test cases and more automated test cases, less human errors, cost benefits, and higher ROI. You don't have to spend much on the automation resources, and instead you can spend your money on the other important areas of the project. Next one. Yeah. So we did number of POCs with Smart Beer, and we have come to these summarize few parts which can help in the project cycle based on the POC. So the time taken to automate automate the test cases versus Selenium is like 1/3. So when you used Smart Beer. And the next one is the test cycle itself has reduced close to 30 to 60% shorter. And yeah, you get a faster feedback, and you don't have to work on updating the scripts often. And then on the cost perspective, on a 5-year span, it's like 1/4 of the actual compared with the traditional automation. And with the next slide, I will pass it on to Sankeet, and Sankeet is going to explain some technical aspect. I mean, he's going to give a demo of the Smart PR solutions, and I also going to give you some real-time, real-time stories, user stories, where Smart PR helped with the different organizations. Yeah. Thank you.
Perfect. Give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Namiko, Shri, can you see my screen? Yeah,
I can
okay.
see your screen. Yeah.
Perfect. So again, yeah, thanks guys, thanks. So again, now what I'll do is, because we only got about 15 to 20 minutes, I'll not go through every single section of test complete. Rather focus on the ones which are important. And my intention out of this session would be for you guys to go get a copy of test complete from SmartBear and then try it out yourself. So I would like to take everyone to that stage where you should be able to download a copy and start automating some of these tests yourself. So with that, what I have already done, again in interest of time, is install a copy of Test Complete on my machine. As you heard Shri talking about this, Test Complete supports web, mobile, desktop. Yeah, so what does that mean for any QA? It means that you don't have to go between multiple different tools. And even we are going to talk a bit about your API testing needs as well. So again, what this means for QA users like ourselves is that you don't have to go through multiple different tools when you're thinking of automating all of these different, different technologies or different operating system stacks. Now, let's start by creating a new test. And today what I'm going to do is use a web test. Now, why I choose web test is because I'm sure some of you who are attending this webinar today are familiar with Selenium, or maybe you would have tried Selenium in past. So I'm going to use that as the starting point. So to create a new test, I'm going to click on File, New Project. Okay, give this project a name. So there are a couple of more options for me. Again, we'll not worry about every single options that's mentioned out here, but we obviously can see project location, scripting language, not required because we are going to use record and replay all the time. But for advanced QA or SDETs, what we call in terms of industry specific terms, If you want scripting, that is also available within Test Complete. Yeah, but today's session, we are going to focus on record and replay or keyword test. Then, as you can see here, we also have support for desktop and Appium, but I'm not doing that today. We are going to focus on web technologies. So I'm going to click on finish. What this does is this creates a boilerplate where I can start automating test. So on the left, so yeah, you'd probably see more than one project. That's because I was working on something before this webinar. But on the left, I request your attention on this segment. You can see we have a project, then we have an execution plan. Think of execution plan like when you have tens and hundreds of tests created, you can create a plan. How do you want to execute those tests? Maybe dependency. You want to execute login first, you want to execute place order second, logout third. You can create a dependency plan for those tests. Then we have keyword tests. So this is where we are going to spend time today. Now on the right, this is what we call the workspace. Again, each workspace has several different actions, but when we use record and replay, you don't really have to worry much about this. All of these keyword actions will be automatically taken care for you. Now, enough said, enough explanation. Let's hit the record button and start creating a test first. So I click on record. Now, what happens is test complete minimizes itself. And on the top left, you can see there is a small minified version of test complete recording. Now I already have launched this page. This is shopping cart. This is a demo application that I use all the while. Now, say as part of my smoke or sanity test, when I log into this particular app, I want to ensure that I see this awesome shopping store. So what I need to do is simply hover my mouse over this particular text, and test complete automatically identifies that as an object. And you can see I also have a plus icon next to it. Now, what this means is if I am a non-technical user, if I am someone with absolutely no knowledge of coding, I'm more into a business specific world, I can use this to my advantage. I again hover over this particular text, click on this plus icon, and say I want to verify the content text as awesome shopping store. There goes my first checkpoint, or also called as validation. Then let me go ahead and make some actions out here. I'm going to enter my email address. smartware.com. And then I'm going to also enter my password. I now click on login button. So as you can see, that red rectangle square, that red border box is always available for you. Yeah, but as you use test complete, probably you have more aspirations. You would want to validate some more content of this. Yeah, so what I can also do is use this recording toolbar to my advantage. I can say add checkpoint, and now test complete gives me a step-by-step checkpoint wizard. And in terms of validations, we support text, image, file, table, or a grid, database, or the full web page. Yeah. So I'm going by the easy ones for this webinar today. Text or property. Yeah. And this time, I again want to do the awesome shopping store one, but the ones which is in the top left. So when I select this, test complete grabs the what we call the document object model and prepares tens of those different properties available for me so that I can now work on it. So when I select next, we are going to see all those properties out here. So as you can see, content text that is automatically suggested by test complete. But if I want to see all of these different properties, I can click on more properties. And like I said, those tens and hundreds of properties are now available for me. Say I want to verify the height of it, the width of it, the location of it. I don't know whether everything it ties back to the same page URL. Everything can be configured and validated. I'll go back to my basic ones, still use content text, click on finish. Now another checkpoint has been added. I now search for an item that I want to purchase. I'm going to say Xbox. Click on submit. And let's do one last checkpoint before I stop this test. Yeah. I click on add checkpoint. Text again. Grab the crosshair. Go to 599 USD. Yes, perfect. Go to next. Accept 599 USD, not worry too much about it. And now let me go ahead and stop this test. Again, just to summarize what you have seen so far, we looked at how we can, obviously we didn't see installation of test complete, but we looked at how you can start creating a project within test complete, start by creating a keyword test. We straight away dived into the keyword test and looked at in terms of say navigating those different URLs, entering certain keystrokes, hovering over mouse, all of this. Okay, so there's one change that I would like to do here. We started by a property checkpoint. No, not required. That's all right. I go to log out. That's fine. So I'm going to quickly run this test, and we are going to look at test execution, and then I'll also bring up a report. So let me go ahead and click on run. As we click on run, let's see. Perfect. It's looking for awesome shopping store in the background. If it finds that, it will then get to the email address which I entered, then the password, login. Again, it's going to look for awesome shopping store on the top left, look for an Xbox, and then it is going to stop the test. Yeah, again, no dramas, right? Like extremely simple test. But this is also only a starting point. This is where we are going to begin looking at certain tests and then carrying it forward. Now, as you can see here, my test, it has given me certain report on the checkpoint. It has given me a couple of passes. It has also given me a couple of failures, which were expected because of the 599 USD attribute. Every time I go add a new Xbox, it is going to change that particular attribute. So here's an extremely simple report for you. But what's important is for the ones that have passed, you can also see what was expected. And then there is a picture around it in terms of the checkpoint. Yeah. So you can see your awesome shopping store. If you go to details, it will tell you what was the actual value and what was the expected value. Now going back to this particular test. Where is it? Test one. What I can also do is, in terms of navigation, I have currently used Chrome, but Test Complete gives you the opportunity to run these tests on different browsers at the same time. What I mean is like exactly the same test that you would have created in Chrome. You could run that in Firefox. You could run that in Edge browsers as well. What I got to do, select all of these tests. What I have done is select Shift, Control, and all of the down arrows to select my test. Right click and say make browser loop. And I can say iterate through all of the browsers, or let's do a specific browser. So I can do Chrome, I can do Firefox, I can do Edge. Yeah. Then, so this is the first loop. Now in QA world, we are aware of parameterization and data parameterization, right? Like we don't like hard coding our data. Rather, we would want to connect everything to an Excel file. Then at the same point, we want to run it for multiple different data. So what I can also do is for all of these steps, for example, this X box and where I'm validating this particular checkpoint, I can do select these 3 steps and I can say make a data loop. What this does is with this gives you an opportunity to connect test complete to an Excel, CSV table, query the database or the inbuilt table variable of test complete. You can select next and then link it to a file. Again, what we have seen in our experience is most of them end up connecting to an Excel or a CSV file. So that is also an option. Perfect. So here's, like I said, here's a very brief demo on how to get started with the test, how to record, run, analyze the report. Now, coming to the smart automation bit, what I also wanted to show is situations like captcha-based automation or PDF-based automation. Yeah. So say something like this. Now, this is one of these captchas that keep changing, and I'm sure you would have come across this. This is, though this looks like a text, it is not a text. Yeah? It is mostly an image. And this is where in the world of QA, these are identified as bottlenecks to automation. So what we could do is with test complete, AI-based smart identification, you could use something like what we call it an OCR action. Again, even though the name says OCR, because traditionally this was OCR, and we didn't want to confuse our users by giving it different name. We continued adopting the same term called OCR. But what we are actually doing is behind the scene, we have employed AI to identify the object. So I can go place the crosshair on this object. And like I said, it is going to work with that particular image. Yeah, you can see here, it's an image capture, not the regular text. I can click on next. And what test complete does is it'll try to identify all of that particular text from this particular image. Yeah, and then you can work with this particular item within your test. And this applies for captcha. Say you can also work with something like a PDF. Again, I'll spend 30 seconds on this before I wrap up the demo. Again, OCR action. I look at this entire PDF and, I kind of, without wasting much time, I scanned the entire PDF page. So you're going to see a lot of text into this now. So click on next. And you're going to see the entire text. But what we really need is here, total 599, Xbox, all of those items are available. Yeah. So when you work with smart automation, again, you got to think smart, think creative, and see how you can use it to your benefit. With that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that we bring up the slides again. Perfect. Now, now that uh, now that we saw a bit of demo on test complete, let's take a few steps back. Now, in the world of QA, if you are looking to adopt automation, there are plenty of frameworks, libraries, open source libraries out there. Yeah, number one probably open source library as of today is Selenium. I know there are other items coming up like Cypress, and all of these things are catching up. So let's look at how some of these things compare against Test Complete. Let's start with pros of Selenium. Obviously, the biggest pro, right? Like no cost associated with it. That is what we think. Yeah. So it is not just the license cost that you need to look at, but when we say no upfront or recurring cost, I'm talking about, sorry, I'm talking about license cost only, not the investment to create test cost. No upfront or recurring cost. Then it is obviously supported by plenty of community members. Uh, there are there are tons of training articles out there in internet. Obviously, it's a low touch point if you want to if you want to get started on automation, as long as you are comfortable writing, scripting, and debugging code. In terms of cons, like I said, again, few of them could look it as cons, or few of them could say, yes, these are few points I could live with it. But the bottom line is there is no desktop or mobile automation. So if you need these technologies, if you need to automate these, you obviously have to go scout for different other tools. Then requires technical expertise, difficult to maintain test, no support team. These all ties back to your individual experience with something like Java, Python, or any other framework out of Selenium that you would have adopted. Let's now look at some of these benefits against Test Complete. So let's start with the cons and then get to the benefit. The cons is obviously there is an upfront cost associated with it, which is the license cost. But the cost to create tests, to run tests, to maintain tests, it's minimal compared to other frameworks. Yeah. Then this tool, Test Complete as a product, is available even to non-technical users. So a business analyst who is looking to automate few tests and want to contribute to automation, they can get started with something like Test Complete. Say for some reason you hit a roadblock, things are not working the way you expect them to be, then you can always reach out to our support team who will handhold you to pass that particular hurdle. That's the benefit. And then on top of it, the learning curve is extremely small because there is up-to-date training material, and on the same and at the same time, we are also looking at up-to-date documentation, not just to use Test Complete, but how you can use Test Complete with various different technologies, various different products and tools outside the smartware ecosystem. Yeah, so that's a quick summary on comparison. Feel free to give your comments, add your comments or notes in the chat, or leave us a question. What we also thought will be beneficial for you, rather than me talking how great Test Complete is, how it has helped a lot of customers across the globe. We thought we'll put some of these customer testimonials in front of you. So you can see here a senior software engineer from gentleman called Sander, who is part of Philips Healthcare. So they were able to improve application testing time between 40 to 50%, which also helped them reduce costs. So like I said, you cannot treat cost in isolation. You cannot just say cost of license, or you cannot say cost of maintaining your test, or you cannot say cost of creating of tests. Together, the overall cost of ownership has to be looked at when we are deriving the cost parameters across different tools and products. Then some more down for you. I'm sure you would have already read this. Some of the other teams who mentioned, again, these reviews are also public. Feel free to go have a look and read elaborate reviews by other users as well in the G2 Crowd website. Last but not the least, before I hand it back to Namiko, a quick slide on intelligent quality add-on. So as you already saw, uh, I did few actions, one or two actions. One was on the capture side of things, the other one was on PDF. But this also opens up a door to different possibilities. As you can see, Carol who's again an automation engineer at Team Software, their team was able to look at Citrix applications in a very different way, which otherwise is a huge image, right? When you work with Citrix, most of you would have worked in past or are working on Citrix applications. When you connect it from an operating system, it comes as an image blob. So this opened a door of possibilities for them as how they can go ahead and adopt test automation for applications like Citrix. Yeah. Perfect. With that, thank you very much. Thank you for listening to me and being a great audience. And with this, I now pass it back to Namiko.
Awesome. Thank you both. So that's all the presentation for today. And then that leaves us, what, 15 minutes for Q&As? If anybody in the audience wants to reach out to us directly, please drop us a line at either of the two addresses listed. And so yeah, we have a few questions coming from the audience. One, how to make the right choice for the QA automation test types, integration, unit, functional, end-to-end, etc., to adapt and to apply while the system lifecycle development process that best matches the project applications use cases, functional, non-functional, and operational scenarios. That's a very long question. So if I understand correctly, it's asking how do you make the right choices and pick the right test types from integration to end, depending on the application's use cases and test scenarios. Sanket, if you have some input on this.
Yeah, sure. So I'll probably address this in bits and pieces. Now, some projects as a QA, some projects have the work charter of just focusing on functional tests. Some projects have functional testing, performance testing, unit testing, integration testing as part of a bigger project group. Now, what Test Complete specializes in is the functional testing stack. So if you're in the functional testing phase as a QA, Test Complete is beneficial for you. Whereas the other segment, say for example, if you're thinking of performance testing, integration testing or unit testing, you could look at our contract testing products like Packflow. So in a nutshell, there is no one size fits all. It's all up to your individual priorities, your project team's priorities, and what your work goal is. That said, for Test Complete, it is functional testing only. Can we get to the next question?
Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't sure if your audio is breaking up or.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, no worries. Sri, but by the way, do you have any comment on this one as a solution architect? Which test type to adapt or automate depending on applications characteristics?
I think yeah, Sangeet has answered the main part of the question. So yeah, it should be good. Yeah, no comments from my side. Yeah.
Okay. Next, my test suite is very complex for financial products. Is there something you cannot automate with the smart automation tool? Sanketh, would you like to take on this one?
Yeah. So I would generally it's the other way. We have been given situations and then we have decided what we can automate. But based on my experience, if you're looking at automating interactive charts or graphs, where you click on a graph, it opens up another one, you get to the graph, it opens up thumbnails, those kind of things, we could do it to an extent, but not achieve a great bit of automation. Yeah, so this is one use case that comes to my mind. Yeah, but if it is just about identifying elements of an graph chart or an image, we are able to do that. Yeah, I would say that as our answer. But feel free to give me more use cases, ask me more pointed questions, saying, "Hey, can you do this? Have you done this in past?" And probably I can answer this question in a much better way.
So I think smart beta tools are pretty comprehensive, that there isn't much that you can automate. As you explained, you can do like screenshots, PDFs, or login, logouts, complex objects and everything, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. What's the next question? How to manage the software test list the priorities, workflow rank to adopt and apply in the development process. Does this question make sense? How to manage the software test list priority, workflow rank, like which test cases to automate in priority, I guess, in the development process.
Yeah, I think it's on the I guess it's on the planning side, so I might be able to answer it. So yeah, of course, when you start a project or when you start your testing phase, you will have to first find out the critical areas of your project, and then especially for example, if a project involves the payment part as one of the critical areas, so you will have to identify those areas. Like you might the team might be knowing what is critical part of this project. If you have a EC site and you cannot make a payment, there's no use of having the EC. The payment is not working fine. There's no it's going to be a loss for you. Nothing is going to proceed further. So these areas, which is critical to the business, you'll have to identify it, start listing down, and then identify and do it. That's how you try to make priorities. So yeah, and then I think first you have to list it down, and then maybe prioritize, and then go ahead with the testing on those areas. Yeah. So hope I answered the question.
Thank you. So so it means that whatever you have to automate or test, the priority should be decided based on, I guess, business objectives or what means more to the end users or the product.
Yeah,
I see.
that's true. Yeah,
I think also what type of resources you have in the team also could impact what can be the priority, but yeah, I guess that can be a discussion for another time. Another question. So how does AI help exactly on test complete? Does it catch the UI changes? Does it heal the test cases itself? What are the areas?
Sure. So we are still it's an evolving solution. At this point, we have been able to implement AI during your test creation, which means if you're looking to automate test cases, example with captcha images, so on, you'll be able to automate those test cases. Then we have been able to implement AI in self-healing, say an object changed its coordinates, added new DOM properties to it, test complete is able to self-heal those tests. Uh, yeah, that's what we are currently doing. But obviously, the plan down the line is to have more of AI even in the test execution bit. Create those smart test cases, automatically updating those test cases. That's something that we are also currently. That's something that which is also in pipeline, and that's happening in the background as we speak.
So from testers' perspective, does the tool kind of prompt them to fix certain things, or does it like heal on its own,
Yeah.
or it depends on the complexity?
Yeah, that's a great point, Namiko. At this stage today, say a test failed. I could not bring up a failure earlier, but at this point, if a test failed because of because of object differences, at this point you have two options. Either allow test complete to heal the test automatically and then proceed. The second option is to pause to temporarily fail the test and prompt the user, hey, look, here's a new change that I'm currently seeing. Do you want me to update it and then move forward? So you have two options out there at this stage.
Oh, I see. Like switch on and off.
Yeah.
Here's okay.
Yeah.
So that the QA managers or product managers would have a control over how much
Yeah.
the tool can do for you. Cool. Okay. One last question. What features do users like QA managers like the most?
I would say our ability to prioritize your test. That's something that QA managers like because, say, for example, you come out of a fresh release of your app and you do not want to run hundreds and thousands of tests for feedback. You only want to run a subset of it, maybe smoke or sanity test, and then create dependencies. If your sanity test passed, then you want to execute the full functional or regression cycle. This is something that QA managers have better control in these situations, and you get faster feedback without wasting any resources. The second feature is test complete ability for openness. So today, if you want to add your API test as part of test complete, you can go ahead and do it. Not just that, if you have your Selenium test that you want to bring to test complete and add on top of them, we can give you options to import Selenium tests. Obviously, there will not be any edit test, but you can continue to import your Selenium test and execute, and all your subsequent tests will be in test complete. That's something that QA managers like, obviously, because they want a single point solution for their testing needs and not go after multiple different products.
That makes sense. Thank you. So thank you both. That's it for the Q&A section. So to the audience, lastly, please don't forget to leave your feedback on the survey. I think you see a link once this presentation ends, and also announcing that the Shift Asia does webinars on a monthly basis. So hopefully we'll see everyone in the next one as well. Thanks, Sanke. Thanks, Sri. Thanks, everybody.